Snowdonia is a region in North Wales and a national park of 823 square miles in area. It was the first to be designated of the 3 national parks in Wales, in 1951. Name and extent: the English name for the area derives from Snowdon, which is the highest mountain in Wales at 3,560 ft. In Welsh, the area is named Eryri. One assumption is that the name is derived from Eryri, but others state that it means quite simply highlands, as leading Welsh scholar Sir Iffor Williams proved. In the Middle Ages the title Prince of Wales and Lord of Snowdonia was used by Llywelyn ap Gruffydd. His grandfather Llywelyn Fawr used the title Prince of North Wales and Lord of Snowdonia. Prior to the designation of the boundaries of the national park, Snowdonia was generally used to refer to a smaller area, namely the upland area of northern Gwynedd centred on the Snowdon Massif, whereas the national park covers an area more than twice that size extending far to the south into Meirionydd. This is apparent in books published prior to 1951 such as the classic travelogue Wild Wales by George Borrow and The Mountains of Snowdonia by H. Carr and G. Lister. F. J. North, as editor of the book Snowdonia, states, when the committee delineated provisional boundaries, they included areas some distance beyond Snowdonia proper. The traditional Snowdonia thus includes the ranges of Snowdon and its satellites, the Glyderau, the Carned Day and the Mol Sibod group. It does not include the hills to the south of Mantrag. As Eryri, this area has a unique place in Welsh history, tradition and culture. Snowdonia National Park: Snowdonia National Park was established in 1951 as the third national park in Britain, following the Peak District and the Lake District. It covers 827 square miles, and has 37 miles of coastline. The park is governed by the Snowdonia National Park Authority, which is made up of local government and Welsh representatives, and its main offices are at Penrhyn Dwydraeth. Unlike national parks in other countries, Snowdonia are made up of both public and private lands under central planning authority. The makeup of land ownership at Snowdonia is as follows. More than 26,000 people live within the park, of whom about 62% can speak at least some Welsh. The park attracts over 6 million visitors annually, split almost equally between day and staying visitors, making it the third most visited national park in England and Wales. Whilst most of the land is either open or mountainous land, there is a significant amount of agricultural activity within the park. Since the local government reorganisation of 1998, the park lies partly in the county of Gwynedd, and partly in the county borough of Conwy. It is governed by the 18-member Snowdonia National Park Authority. 9 members are appointed by Gwynedd, 3 by Conwy, and the remaining 6 by the National Assembly for Wales to represent the national interest. Unusually, Snowdonia National Park has a hole in the middle, around the town of Blaenau-Ffestiniog, a slate quarrying centre. This was deliberately excluded from the park when it was set up to allow the development of new light industry to replace the decimated slate industry. The Snowdonia Society is a registered charity formed in 1967. It is a voluntary group of people with an interest in the area and its protection. Amory Lovins led the successful 1970s opposition to stop Rio Tinto digging up the area for a massive mine. Mountain ranges: Snowdonia may be divided into 4 areas. The northernmost area is the most popular with tourists, and includes Moel Hebog, Myned Maw and the Nannel Ridge. The Snowdon Massif, the Glyderau, and the Carned Day. These last 3 groups are the highest mountains in Wales, and include all Wales' 3,000-foot mountains. The second area includes peaks such as Mol Sibod, Cnicht, the Meirionydd, and the mountains around Blaenau-Ffestiniog. The third area includes the Rhynogyd in the west as well as the Arnog and the Mnynt, and Rhobl Fawr. This area is not as popular with tourists as the other areas, due to its remoteness. The southernmost area includes Cadair Idris, the Taran Range, the Diffy Hills, and the Arran Group, including Arran Fawrdwy, the highest mountain in the United Kingdom south of Snowdon. Mountain walking. Many of the hikers in the area concentrate on Snowdon itself. It is regarded as a fine mountain, but can become quite crowded, particularly with the Snowdon Mountain Railway running to the summit. The other high mountains with their boulders-strewn summits are as well as Tryfan, one of the few mountains in the UK south of Scotland whose ascent needs hands as well as Feta are also very popular. However, there are also some spectacular walks in Snowdonia on the lower mountains, and they tend to be relatively unfrequented. Among hikers' favourites are Wygarn along the ridge to Ulidia Fawr, Mynydtaw y Mignead along the Nannel ridge to Mynyd Drws y Coed, Nolwyn Mawr, and Penllithrig y Rach north of Cape Curig. Further south are Ylleth in the Rhynogyd, and Cadair Idris near Dolglo. The park has 1,479 miles of public footpaths, 164 miles of public bridleways, and 46 miles of other public rights-of-way. A large part of the park is also covered by right-to-roam laws. Nature, landscape and the environment. The park's entire coastline is a special area of conservation, which runs from the Lleyn Peninsula down the mid-Wales coast, the latter containing valuable sand dune systems. The park's natural forests are of the mixed deciduous type, the commonest tree being the Welsh oak. Birch, ash, mountain ash and hazel are also common. The park also contains some large coniferous forested areas such as Gwydir Forest near Betws y Coed, although some areas, once harvested, are now increasingly being allowed to regrow naturally. Northern Snowdonia is the only place in Britain where the Snowdon lily, an Arctica Euro-alpine plant, and the rainbow-coloured Snowdon beetle are found, and the only place in the world where the Snowdonia hawkweed Hieracium snowdoniense grows. A large proportion of the park is today under designation as sites of special scientific interest, national nature reserves, special areas of conservation, special protection areas, biosphere and Ramsar sites. One of the major problems facing the park in recent years has been the growth of Rhododendron ponticum. This fast-growing invasive species has a tendency to take over and stifle native species. It can form massive towering growths and has a companion fungus that grows on its roots producing toxins that are poisonous to any local flora and fauna for a 7-year period after the rhododendron infestations have been eradicated. As a result, there are a number of desolate landscapes. Wildlife. Snowdonia's importance in the conservation of habitat and wildlife in the region reflects in the fact that nearly 20% of its total area is protected by UK and European law. Half of that area was set aside by the government under the European Habitats Directive as a special area of conservation. Rare mammals in the park include otters, polecats, and the feral goat, although the pine marten has not been seen for many years. Rare birds include raven, peregrine, osprey, merlin and the red kite. Another of Snowdonia's famous inhabitants is the Snowdon or rainbow beetle. The park has 3 Ramsar sites, the Divy Estuary Biosphere Reserve, CWM Idwal and Llyn-ty-Gyd. Climate. Snowdonia is one of the wettest parts of the United Kingdom. Crib Goch in Snowdonia is the wettest spot in the United Kingdom, with an average rainfall of 4,473 mm a year over the past 30 years. References. External links: Snowdonia Travel Guide from Wiki Voyage, Snowdonia National Park Authority, Snowdonia Society, The Snowdonian.